Gearhauser?
Who?
Art Gearhauser?
We already, here we go.
He complained about the bricks on the aquarium, we didn't have white on.
Who complained?
That guy.
Here we go. Good evening, this is the May 23rd meeting of the zoning board of appeals. First up,
Appeal number 2019-15, Meadowcrest Corporation, 169 Overhill Road, Wading River, Suffolk County Tax Map number 672-120, RB80 zoning, for variances and/or relief from Chapter 301, Section 31, where proposed impervious surface is 17.5% of the lot area and maximum allowed is 15%. Proposed front yard setback is 40 feet, minimum required is 60 feet. Proposed rear yard setback is 46 feet, and minimum required is 75 feet.
evening, Mr. Danowski.
Good evening, Pete Danowski representing the developer of this particular lot. The variances, as noted, are required as a result of the fact, as you know, this town has never adopted a pyramid law, so that all previously created lots, which are smaller than the current zoning today, in all likelihood require someone coming to this board for some form of variance dimensional relief. We have an application we're about to speak about, and the second one following up. There are two side-by-side lots that require that variance. The variances have been noted in the notice that was just read, and they're reasonable in relationship to the size of the lot and the neighborhood. This is not a self-created hardship in the sense the lots were created and there was a map file in sections Hill and Dale, section 3 of a subdivision that created these lots. The natural question when you say, is there a larger house that should be put there? Is there a smaller house that should put there? That's a natural question to come from neighbors who are situated nearby. If you put a 900 square foot box, some people in neighborhoods, and I'm not speaking for the particular individuals who may speak tonight, may feel it's diminishing the value of their neighborhood and their particular house. If you put too large a house, and the favorite word is McMansions, people say it's too large a house next to them. And of course, there are many people that said they'd like to have no house next to them. But the request here is reasonable as to the size of the house, its location, its distance from neighbors. Public water is available. Sanitary system has been located on the proposed survey. Certainly each of the speakers can be provided with a copy of the survey plan that was filed with the application that shows the proposed location of the house. We're not looking to do tremendous huge home, and we're also not looking to do a little square box on the house. So we feel that the requested relief in the situation of the house is not a substantial variance request and should be one that should be granted. I did start a little bit of a colloquy before the meeting started, but I didn't want to interrupt the board in their own discussions, and we'll address neighbors' comments as they speak, and if we can provide further information, we will. Mr. Strecker is here tonight, but I will, speak in his behalf on any questions that are raised.
Okay. All right, anyone else be heard on this matter? Please step up to the microphone.
And what I can do, I can leave the survey on this particular application here, so if this speaker and any ones that follow it can at least look at it as they're having comments.
Sure. And if you kindly raise your right hand, do you swear to tell the truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God? Kindly state your name and your address and speak right into the microphone if you would.
Gabriel DeBono, 123 Overhill Road, Wading River, New York. Okay. My wife and I bought this house at 123 Overhill Road about 10 years ago. It is, I believe it's behind the proposed of 169 Overhill. My kids, I drive my kids to the bus stop, walk them in the springtime to the bus stop located on Overhill and Dogwood. That section is a very dangerous section. It's fast-paced. It's a bypass from 25A to North Country Road. It heads straight down to the Gully Road, which is the goes down to North Country Road and the main Main Street and Wading River area. I see that every morning, people speeding by very fast, so adding 2 more houses to that location is gonna increase the travel, more people traveling back and forth. The proposed front yard setback, it's supposed to be 60 feet, this is 40 feet. Cars coming out of that driveway, my kids ride their bikes and skateboard scooters there, it's gonna be more dangerous for them. So I'm really here for the health and safety of my kids. So you know, that's part of the front area, which is, it's very close to the street where I play with my kids. Now, the second matter is the rear. The rear setback is supposed to be 75 feet. This is gonna be only 46 feet. So my house is gonna be 46 feet from this other house on 169. When I bought this house 10 years ago, my house was there, my backyard. We bought it mainly for the location, a very beautiful location. And now that's gonna go away. This is impinging on my son, my daughter, my wife, impinging on their privacy, really. That's why I definitely opposed of these 2 houses. I'm just curious, why can't it just be 1 house in a larger acre, you know, larger plots? This doesn't make sense to me. It makes sense for people who's making money on this house or these houses, not for the people who live in that neighborhood. Building these 2 houses is definitely not in the essence of this neighborhood at all.
Unfortunately, it is. This map here shows you all the size of the different lots in the area.
The lots are actually bigger than their surrounding lots.
Yeah.
Which, you're directly behind 169?
Yeah, that's what this says, yeah.
And how far away is your rear setback?
I don't have mine on hand.
Because it looks kind of like an equivalent size piece of property. I was just curious if you could give me that information, what your rear setback was.
Well, I don't have that information on me. I could definitely give it to you next time I come or any time after that.
I mean, I don't know honestly, how your rear setback could be any further than what this applicant is proposing.
Okay. Well, I'm not the one that's requesting a relief or variance at this time. I bought the house 10 years ago.
But how
There
would
was
you
no
feel
problems.
if this applicant was basically proposing the same thing that you had?
That's not the point. I have it already. The applicant's not even gonna live there. He's not gonna live there. He's gonna sell it for lots of money and make money on the deal.
It's
gonna
the
sell it to
unfortunate
somebody
thing, he
who-
has a right
Yeah.
to split these.
Well, I'm here opposing this, and if anything happens to me or my kids or my family or neighborhoods, I'm here on record stating so.
That you're
That's it.
opposing the rear neighbor.
Rear, front, yes, and the
for-
size of the
for having the
house.
same exact thing that you have,
I'm in opposition of this,
because you were here
yes.
first.
I don't know what you're talking about, because I don't
No,
know
well,
what,
the- both the-
I don't
both the
see what you
properties,
see- what do you
sir,
see in
bo-
front of you,
Both
sir?
of the properties, sir, are the same, are relatively the same size. So I'm just curious as to the size of your footprint in relation to this footprint, because I don't know how you could have a further rear setback than 46 feet than what this guy's proposing. I'd be very curious to see your setback.
as would I.
Do you have a survey?
I have one at home, yes.
Are you the corner
See, this is the
lot
first
or-
time I'm here. I apologize for my nervousness, but this is a very
Nothing
passionate,
to apologize for.
I'm just saying.
Are you the corner lot or are you the one lot in there?
I'm the one, I believe I'm the one lot in, yes.
Okay.
1, 2, 3 Overhill.
Can I ask you something?
Good.
What would you think would be appropriate? In other words, this is a single and separate lot, and you could build a house on it. What kind of setback would you wanna see? To make it safe, to make you feel more comfortable? How far back should the house be?
Whatever the law is, 75 feet.
And if we push it back 75 feet, he won't have enough in the rear. See, when they adopted zoning in 2004, when they redid the master plan, the one thing they forgot to do was non-conforming lots. So the lots, even though are ample in size, they don't really address in the code for lots that don't meet 2-acre zoning. I don't think there's a lot in Wading River that meets the 2-acre requirement. So just about, like Mr. Danowski said, everybody needs relief because the town legislators did not pass a non-conforming lot schedule. So it's almost impossible to put a house on it if you tried to conform to today's zoning setback schedules. The law really is meant to mean that those setbacks should be applied to a 2-acre lot. If you're going to subdivide land, you'd have to have 2 acres, and you'd have to have a 75-foot setback. That's what the law really is to be meant for. But when you have non-conforming lots, you need a variance because the town failed to provide legislation for these undersized lots. That's all we really are at right now.
I understand, but
Okay, good.
almost 50% of the relief or the variance is a lot, that's excessive.
Well, okay, you're saying it's excessive, but there really is no alternatives. I don't see an
Well,
alternative.
what about not building the houses there? That's an alternative.
But this is a single and separate it's a building lot. Whether you live there or not, it's a right that everybody has when they buy land. It's a constitutional right. Whoever bought that, whoever owns it, has a right to build on it. Simple as that. It's the American dream. It really is.
Sir, reasonably speaking, it's an equivalent sized lot to yours. Reasonably speaking, it's a larger sized lot than what's there surrounding. I would like to see your survey if you could provide that. Because I mean, if it's relatively the same thing that this applicant is asking for, you know.
Well,
How could you even stand before us and ask for a denial when you have the same exact thing and you're the next door neighbor?
well, I never had to measure my backyard, there was no houses behind there. I can bring that survey in to you tomorrow if you like.
Not gonna prove anything.
Do you think the traffic situation or pattern would change because you're concerned that whoever buys this house, they're gonna back out into the street and create a potential hazard to you?
Absolutely.
And your children?
Yes.
So, because the way I'm just looking at the proposed driveway, it seems you could back out and drive forward.
You could
Out
do,
of the
you
driveway.
could, but there's always a risk that they don't do that. If my bus stop would change,
Doesn't that exist on every house on that block? Doesn't that already happen?
but you're creating more risk by building more.
Okay, under the Constitution of the United States and the laws of the state of New York, I don't think we could deny him. I just don't think we can legally deny him. Legally. That's the point I'm trying to make.
Okay, well, I'm not an attorney, so if you're
You
saying
should
that to me.
consult one.
Okay, I will.
It would be probably a good idea.
Thank you.
Okay.
Anyone else to be heard? Please step up.
Hi, I'm Wendy
Again, if
Humphries.
you raise your right hand, you swear to tell the truth, nothing but the truth, so
I
help you
do.
God.
Wendy
State your name
Humphrey-
and your address.
Wendy Humphries, 103 Overhill Road. I'm just concerned over what type of buffer is going to be in these houses, with these houses.
What kind of what?
Buffer.
And which lot are you? I'm sorry.
I'm on 103. I don't know what lot it is.
How many lots away from this lot are you?
From which one? From the corner?
Mr. Gabriel.
3 houses in.
From the lot that we're talking about right now?
Well, there's the two,
From both of them.
Vacant lots?
They're right next door to each other.
right
yeah.
next door, I'm the 3rd house in, 4th house in,
On Overlook, go
on
on.
Overhill.
Okay. Okay, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I just would like to know what type of buffer
Yeah.
is going to be put.
So-
We don't see a proposed buffer, but I don't think it's required either.
Yeah.
Well, tree-wise, I mean, is there, what?
It's not required.
Excuse
and-
me?
There's no requirements under the statute to
So they-
create
they-
a buffer,
they're-
only on commercial property currently.
So you're saying that they can come in and they could just wipe all the trees out up there?
Yeah, I
Even though
don't-
I spoke with him and he says that, no, he's not going
I
to
don't particularly
wipe
care
trees.
for that,
But
but-
I find it impossible for him not to
Well-
take down trees. There's a lot of them there.
Well, I
Most-
mean, if you look at the proposed survey, ma'am, I mean,
I don't-
the house that they're proposing is very reasonably sized. I mean, It's small.
But what does that have to do with the
It's a
trees?
30 by 36.
That has
Well-
nothing to do with the house itself is one size, but the surrounding, what is his intentions on leaving around those houses? Is he just gonna wipe
Okay.
it completely
Well,
out?
Well, then the
Let them
question that
answer
I would
that.
have is what kind of buffer do you have?
Trees.
Do you? Right.
Yeah, I mean, I would always try to save trees when
Yeah.
I built a house,
I know, but,
because it's more money to clear them all.
Where your house is.
yes.
I think that's where
But
your
the
house
buffer's
is.
the right thing.
Is it there too?
Yeah.
All right, so the one's right here. So the
Right, and
point
you're
is
here.
here, so what, I mean, are they just gonna wipe it complete? Okay, so 45 and 43. Those are where the houses are going to be, right?
Yes.
Okay, so are any trees, I mean, going to be left?
It's,
Up to the builder.
I don't think we
That's
can
not
answer it,
required.
but I think they can answer
Well,
it.
Yeah.
if it's required, or not, I'm asking, is he going to?
well,
I think
you
we have
could
to
ask them
direct
if you
that
like,
question
yeah.
to them.
Yeah.
Peter?
All right, well, just somebody should answer. I think he knows what his
Yeah,
intent is.
Exactly.
Sure.
I wanna hear what he wants to do too. Thank you.
Okay. That's good, you can sit down.
Good, thanks.
Thank you.
Anyone else before Mr. Danowski? So, and just raise your right hand, do you swear to tell the truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do. Pete Benlovich, 111 Overhill Road.
Go ahead.
I'm in between those two. Yeah, the smartest thing might be just let him to come up and say how many square foot he's gonna have, what he plans on doing, and then this way we get an idea. And then people can come back and finish answering their questions.
Okay.
Because my questions are gonna be how many square feet, and you guys are gonna go, I don't know.
And again, I left the map up there, not that you.
It's a
This is
survey,
the first
he
time,
left
I
us,
just got your letter yesterday.
All right.
it's a,
Yeah, so it's, I
it's
haven't had a
basically a
chance.
1,000 square foot footprint, it's 30 by 36.
Two-story.
And if you look at the size of the lot, it's extremely reasonable.
Okay. What's stopping him, once you put this house here and it gets marked, can they move it?
Sorry,
Can it-
say that again?
Once this gets, if this gets approved, can you move the house? Can you reposition
Well,
it?
need a
it-
variance
he's
again.
presenting this survey here, so
So
he
the-
has to really
If he
abide.
decided to reposition the house, he would need a variance again.
Right.
So you'd have to come back again and
Yeah.
ask for a variance and everything,
Mhm.
but, okay. Same thing, setting the square footage and everything like that, you have to yeah, I'm basically educating myself here, you'd have to come in for another variance. All right, okay. I'm just trying to figure out, I'm gonna reserve the right after he speaks to, this is the first time I've seen this, really looking at it. So,
What's that?
277 square feet.
Yes,
go ahead.
itself.
Can I go? Yeah.
Benzelovich? Is it? So you're Peter's son?
yeah.
There's somebody else wants to-
Anyone else to be heard? Please. If you raise your right hand, do you swear to tell the truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Kindly state your name and your address.
My name's Anthony Denemark. I live at 156 Dogwood Drive, basically across the street from where this lot is. And trees were brought up. My concern is with the runoff that this is gonna create if you wipe out all those trees. Is there a plan to capture that water somehow and prevent it from running down onto my property?
We'll have them come up and answer your question.
Okay.
The town does have a section in its code that you have to contain your own water runoff. And I see here on the plan that he's showing 2 dry wells, but the building inspector would have to review it.
Yeah, 'cause I mean,
And
there's like a 45-degree slope down to the street. I mean, I don't know if you know the numbers, but one tree captures a tremendous amount of water
Oh,
per
yeah.
year, about 50,000 gallons of water, one mature oak tree. You wipe out 10 trees, that's 500,000 gallons of water. I wanna know where it's going. So,
Okay. That's for an engineer, I guess, to decide. to answer
Anyone
that.
else be heard on this matter before Mr. Danowski comes up? Mr. Danowski, you have some answers for these folks?
As to the math, certainly everyone's willing to correct me when I do the math. The application actually contains the square footage as well, and the footprint obviously is the first floor, and then the second floor is the additional square footage. Each of these houses has a garage incorporated within the building envelope, so some of the space that's within the described footprint is part of the garage area, not living space. And as a covered porch depicted on a plan. So the square footage is revealed. There's no intention to clear cut the land. There are dry wells proposed. We do want to capture the water, and so we're not looking to clear cut the trees. I understand the question about the buffer, but you can see where we propose to build the house. It serves no purpose, even in marketing the house, that to eliminate trees. People like trees and people like wood, so it wouldn't be something self-serving for us to do. But again, it's looking at the neighborhood is a factor to be considered by everyone. The size of their homes, the size of their lots, what buffers they do or don't have, and what they've done is the neighborhood experience, and that's what we try to match up with. So this is not a 900 square foot house. I don't think anybody would want that, but everybody has their own opinion. We cannot build a house at all if you apply the standards, which is sort of a repeat what's already been said by Mr. Barnes and others. So from my point of view, these are reasonable requirements, but I will leave up the square footage of the application that's here, the survey plan that I've left. I've also left the tax map, which shows, and one of the board members mentioned the size of lots directly behind the one. I understand that the driveway location has been proposed. And so I don't know what more detail we can show, other than to say what we've put on the plan will be, if the variance is granted, the subject of a building permit that will issue. And that the relief being sought here is dimensional relief. So you either say you'd like, you know, no house built there, that's a position to take, no house built there, but we have a right to a house. And the question is, do you move it forward? Does that help somebody? Do you move it back? Does it help someone? Does it move it sideways? Does it help someone? We don't think it helps anyone to relocate what we propose, which is sort of to center the house and yet, you know, provide for much of the dimensional relief without asking for a variance. On this particular lot, you need the variance, as you mentioned. So that's a reasonable request. It's consistent with the neighborhood. The size of the lot is consistent. And certainly, at the end of tonight's meeting, to leave the hearing open for a neighbor to supply their survey with their setbacks to make part of the record. I have no objection to someone submitting after tonight's meeting, tomorrow or this week, you know, something further showing their survey plan, depicting their setbacks, and if they have, you know, a buffer of 50 feet or 60 feet with nothing built on it, you know, depict that if that's the case. You know, most people have, you know, and this is sort of reasonable, they'll have a shed, or they'll have some small accessory structure, or they have something for the kids. It might be a basketball hoop, I don't know, but to say that everyone in the neighborhood would support a position that no one should have any form of minor structure around, or not take down a tree which provides some recreational relief for kids or anything else, I think wouldn't be reasonable, and probably, I wouldn't want to canvass a neighborhood and say, here, look, here's what one neighbor has, another neighbor has. Whatever they would like to supply after tonight's meeting, you know, prior to your decision, by way of showing their dimensional relief, because that is the issue, dimensional relief, to show their survey with you know, how they built their house, and they could have purchased the home. But that would be, you know, proof of here's what they have at their small lot, at their location. And I think that's reasonable for them to ask for the opportunity to submit that, you know, during the week. And I have no objection to that.
All right. Anyone else to be heard on this matter? Because we're going to adjourn it to the next meeting. Well, sure, please.
I just wanted to take a quick look at it again beforehand.
Well, take it, I'm sure we can get you a copy
I
to
have
take
one.
home with you.
I think a part of the clear cutting and the issue became with the proposed sheds that you have back there. I think it's the idea that you're just gonna stick a shed in the middle of the woods, 60 feet away from the house or 50 feet away, whatever this is, my eyes are getting in bed. Just didn't make sense to me, yeah. So I think that's where you came up with the clear cut issue,
No,
because
fine.
everybody's thinking that you're just gonna level it. put a shed
Even
out
if it's
there.
over 100
So
square?
that's, if you're not, or if you're gonna move that, that might really
Still has to meet the setback.
create less animosity. And I don't think the water issue was addressed, maybe I missed that. Yeah.
Well, again, everybody's experience on how they capture water to make sure they don't spill water onto the town highway or their neighbors is good. You know, if they can do that, that's good, and they can, and I support that. I mean, I'm a fan of people saying they're proactive in handling drainage on their own property. That's a good thing. And moving the shed, most people, we locate a shed because it's a minimum size allowed by the town, and they say you have to be with accessory structures 5 feet away from a property line. So there's a typical put on most people's homes. But if that were a point of contention, I'm sure I could get Mr. Strecker to say we won't locate it there. We'll have a shed somewhere else incorporated, you know, inside the boundary line. That is really not an issue. It's just the standard way when you go to neighbors, that's where you typically see it. But that's something that certainly we could give up and say, well, move that closer toward the home. That's, I don't think, an issue.
Okay.
Usually people put them on the property line, which causes another problem.
Doesn't matter. We're talking about what's at hand right now. Who needs a variance?
That's the responsibility of the building department before they grant them. I'm sorry, I can't hear you. Say that.
I think what I said was that we proposed dry wells. The building department will review their requirements with regard to capturing water.
Right.
And they won't give us a building permit, and they'll do a final inspection at the end of the day before they give a CO to be in compliance with the town rules. So all we're looking to do is comply with what the law requires us to do. And again, without any neighbor or without my saying it, the town would do that. The real question here is the reasonableness of the setback dimensional relief request.
Yeah. So, we're gonna meet again, right? So
Yes.
The neighbor behind, sir, you're gonna provide your survey to show what your setbacks are? Okay, great, thank you.
Okay, so anyone else to be heard? Otherwise, we're gonna adjourn this to the next meeting. Okay, let's have a reading.
Okay, Mr. Chairman, I move that the appeal,
Whoa, pardon me? Yeah, we'll get you a copy before you leave.
Leroy's got it.
I'm sorry, Frank.
Oh.
I was gonna put a note on there, but we'll talk about it later.
okay.
Does he wanna come up, that guy with the hand?
No. Let's have an adjournment to the next meeting.
Till the 19th?
No.
13th, I'm sorry.
Sure.
Mr. Chairman, I move that the appeal number 19-015 Meadowcrest, 169 Overhill Road, Wading River, be adjourned till June 13th.
So moved.
Mr. Barnes,
Aye.
Mr. Whitmire,
Aye.
Mr. Seabrook.
Aye?
And I vote aye. So see those folks again. All right, next one up.
Well, it's the same, gonna be the same problem.
Yeah, well, still have to bring it in. Okay?
Gonna be the same thing?
Oh, right next door.
Yeah.
179 Overhill Road, Wading River, tax map number 672-118.1, RB 80 zoning for variances and/or relief from chapter 301, section 31, where proposed front yard setback is 40 feet and minimum required is 60 feet.
Good evening. Again, as I announced, Pete Danowski, this is the second of the 2 lots being discussed tonight. This is a larger lot, was less relief requested. This was 1 setback relief requested. Again, it's a similar size house. The square footage includes a 500 square foot approximate garage within the house with a 6-foot width covered front porch. So again, the very same dimensional 1 relief in this case, pictured on a survey. We can produce the survey plans, and we can look at it here tonight, even after the end of the meeting. And anyone could come down and ask any questions they want and send any further information. And we can see if there's an individual specific reaction to this plan as opposed to the other one when we hear from any speakers who may want to make any further comments. That's all I have to say. The neighborhood, the comparison to other houses in the neighborhood, relief from other houses, the size of the lots, and the fact this is a prior non-conforming single and separate lot. And I will reach in my file and try to find the survey and leave it up here in case someone wants to speak to it.
Anyone else to be heard on the matter, please step up. Again, if you raise your right hand, do you swear to tell the truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Please state your name and your address again.
Gabriel DeBono, 123 Overhill Road, Wading River, New York. As I said before, this is not meeting the requirements of the 40 feet minimum. I mean, 60 feet minimum. It's 40 feet, 20 feet difference. My kids ride their scooters, bikes, and skateboards on this street. It's a safe street now, but if this house is built, it's gonna be less safe. I do have a picture of the road where it's a winding road.
We know, we've been up there.
Okay, and again, kids' bus stop is right at that corner. Speeding cars coming down. You make it more cars on that street. You making a right, it's gonna create more accidents.
Thank you. Anyone else to be heard?
I was just trying to give opportunity for the neighbors to look at this particular survey as well. They had some little discussions, but I want to make sure they can see the map. If they want to make comments or submit something in relation to this lot as well, they're certainly free to do that after tonight's meeting. I think we can we get a copy? Yeah, okay, here. Yeah, I'll give you both of them. Yes, we'll get copies for both.
Surveys, is that what you need?
There's one.
I'll leave us at the microphone for the moment.
Yeah, we're gonna have some copies made.
Okay.
All right, anyone else to be heard? Because we're gonna, again, adjourn this to the 13th. 13th of June. Second Thursday in June.
Nobody else speaking?
All right, nobody else speaking? Okay, just raise your right hand again. You swear to tell the truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do, Pete Benlovich, 111 Overhill. Yeah, so what happens on the 13th? Again, I'm just trying to educate myself. What does it come back and when you vote on it or something like that?
We're gonna have, we'll probably have a vote next time, but if you have any documents you wanna bring, or
Okay.
any other
Yeah.
arguments, or,
The only thing I think is he's already addressed is if they just move the shed out of the way, because I think the way the property line splits down the middle, my backyard would literally be looking at two sheds. So I think, yeah, that would be my only,
okay.
that wouldn't interest me, but yeah.
He's really not asking for a variance for the shed
Yeah, I know.
anywhere. It could be put anywhere.
Yeah, that's
As
what,
long as it's 10 feet from any other structure. And it has to be 5 feet from the property line, and it cannot be in the front yard. So it can be really put anywhere. I think it was just put on there to show that there's gonna be a shed somewhere.
yeah,
That could be moved anywhere.
but I think the lawyer mentioned something about moving it, that's why I was curious if that was an option.
Sure it is.
Okay, that's what I figured, so.
Not the house.
No,
The house has to be reposted.
my only concern with the house is the size is the size, as long as you're not gonna move it on the piece of property or anything like that, then that's, yeah, it is what it is, yeah.
Okay.
Anyone else?
Anyone else? All right, let's have an adjournment.
Mr. Chairman, I move that appeal 19-16 of Robert Strechter, which property is located at 179 Overhill Drive, be adjourned to June 13th.
Second.
Mr. Barnes?
Aye.
Mr. Whitmire?
Aye.
Mr. Seabrook?
Aye.
And I vote aye. So we'll see you folks on the 13th. In the meantime, copies were made, so if you want to take a copy with you of the surveys, they're right up front.
There's 10 sets of two.
Gabriel, can you come up here a minute, please? Tell me which lot you're on. Is this you here?
Yes, yes.
This one? And sir, this is, I want to know which lot you're on. You know which lot? We're friendly. Thanks for your time.
That's okay.
Thanks for speaking.
That's all right.
Thank
Thanks
you.
for getting up.
Where are you located on here? Is this you here? This one, okay. Now we understand. Well, thank you.
All right, Carissa, let's have a request for an extension.
Appeal number 1635, Thomas Carson Farm Country Kitchen, request for extension, it's a third and final extension, thus expiring June 9th of 2020.
Okay, Mr. Danowski, could you give us an update on what's going on with the...
Terry Contract has been hired to complete the improvements of the parking lot. We have posted a bond with the state DOT through Terry Contracting. We're building a new sidewalk. We posted a bond for the town to build a new sidewalk for the town on Sweezy Avenue. We expect and hope that the town will say we don't need a building permit for the parking lot on Sweezy Avenue.
Is that gonna be vacated shortly?
Yes, and we're anxious to get building, and the state improvements include a crosswalk with a flashing light that we have to maintain. That's part of the DOT spec and requirement. We have to build a deck on the building. I submitted the building permit application today for the deck. Rob Stromsky did the drawing for us, and we submitted that. And I would like to think that that could be turned around very fast, but you never know, and every client's reluctant
Who do they
to give free state and town sidewalks and then get denied a building permit for something as simple as a deck. But I think the town wants the deck because the handicapping conditions would be improved by the existence of a new deck. So that's all I can tell you.
Mr. Danowski, when is any of this work gonna start, like the cleaning out of that lot?
I would say the day the building permit issues, Terry Contracting schedule, they're the ones that have agreed to do the job, and it's a benefit to us to have that parking lot created. It's a benefit to us that the crosswalk is there. It makes all kinds of sense to get moving. But the town took a position a long time ago, right or wrong, and I understood why they did it, that the site plan doesn't give you the right to build. You need a building permit, even though the law didn't require
That's
that. I
correct.
understand why people clear-cutted trees and never built anything, or, they did whatever they did, and it hurt everybody else. Because we always said you can get running faster, but let us build a parking lot while we wait for something else. But no one's gonna run the
Not
risk.
gonna do it.
No one's gonna run the risk of doing that.
Wouldn't be prudent.
So, building permit, there's a lady in the Building and Planning Department, I think Carissa's her name.
Never heard of her.
She might be able to move things along. And I just asked for her today, and I said, well, tell her that I delivered this today, so we'll see.
She put in for a raise. She's gonna see if she gets that first.
Well, she does a wonderful job.
She does.
She keeps me smiling when many times it's very
deserves it.
difficult to do so.
Good worker.
Thank you.
They still bring donuts and stuff in the mornings, and it really drives everybody crazy over there. All right.
Nice to see you, Mr. Zadowski.
So let's have a vote on this.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we accept the letter to extend for the third year and
And
approve it
rest.
as such.
Are you a second?
Second.
Mr. Barnes?
Aye.
Mr. Whitmire?
Aye.
Mr. Seabrook?
Aye.
And I vote aye. Do I hear a motion to accept the minutes of the last meeting?
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
All in
Second.
favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Let's hear,
Motion to
adjourn.
adjourn?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you, everyone.
It was a pleasure being in
Hello,
your company,
Tim.
folks.